What if the moment you choose silence, you gain power over everyone around you? Think about it. Every time you fill the air with words, you give away your strength. Every answer, every reaction, every unnecessary word is a surrender. But what if I told you the true power lies in doing nothing? Have you ever felt that unbearable silence? The kind that makes you squirm, as if the world will judge you for not speaking up, for not filling the void. That silence is terrifying, right? It feels like it exposes you, like if you don't say something, you'll lose. But let me tell you this, silence is not a void, it's a weapon. And those who know how to wield it control everything. Most people fear silence because it reveals what they're really afraid of, being exposed. You're taught that silence is uncomfortable, something that needs to be filled with noise to avoid looking weak. But the truth is, silence doesn't make you weak. It makes you unstoppable. Imagine this. Instead of responding immediately, you choose silence. You don't give them your energy, your thoughts, your emotions. You force the world to come to you. While everyone else scrambles for control, you remain still, unshaken. You make them squirm, not because you've said anything, but because you've mastered the most powerful act of all, staying silent. In the art of Stoicism, silence isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about commanding the moment. It's about knowing that your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. It's about making the world bend to your stillness. And trust me, when you choose silence, you control everything. Now, picture this. Someone tries to provoke you, pushing your buttons, waiting for your reaction. They're expecting you to snap, to get defensive, to jump into the chaos with them. But what if you do nothing? What if, instead of reacting, you remain completely still, your mind sharp, your emotions calm? What happens then? Here's the truth. When you don't respond, when you don't fall into the trap of immediate reaction, you've already won. You see, the ones who try to provoke you are the ones who are weak. They rely on your emotional response to feel powerful. But when you stay silent, you take away their power. The Stoics understood this perfectly. They didn't seek control through noise or action, but through stillness. It's not about submission, it's about authority. Silence, used strategically, disarms your adversary, forces them to face their own demons. They're no longer in control. You are. You force them to reveal their true intentions, to show their weaknesses. Think about it. How many times have you given away your power simply by reacting to someone else's provocation? You answered immediately, without thinking, and suddenly you're tangled in their game. But when you choose silence, you leave them with nothing. They have to fill the space, and in doing so, they often reveal more than they intend to. In that silence, they betray their insecurities, their fears. They expose themselves while you remain solid, untouchable, in complete control. Silence isn't just a void, it's a response, and a powerful one at that. When you remain silent, you make the other person uncomfortable because they're forced to confront the uncertainty they've been trying to avoid. And in that uncertainty, they start questioning themselves. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable people get when they can't read you? When they can't predict your next move or get inside your head? That discomfort, that unease they feel, that is the true power of silence. It's a force that no one sees coming, yet it can change the entire dynamic of any interaction. Imagine a confrontation where your adversary is trying to provoke you, trying to force you to react. They throw out words, they attack, they try to make you feel something, anything. But you stay silent. You don't give them the satisfaction. You stay calm, composed. And in that silence, something powerful happens. The other person is forced to fill the void. Here's the thing. The moment you choose silence, you've created a space where the other person is compelled to show their hand. They have to justify their actions, explain themselves, make sure they're in control of the narrative. And as they do, they reveal their true intentions, their insecurities, their contradictions, their flaws. In that silence, you're not just avoiding conflict. You're inviting the other person to expose themselves. They become desperate to control the conversation, to break your composure. But the more they try, the more they reveal who they really are. Silence isn't just a powerful tool for protecting yourself. It's an invitation for the other person to expose themselves. When they're trying to manipulate you, silence forces them into a position where they have no choice but to reveal their weaknesses. They can no longer hide behind their words or their distractions. They have to face the truth of who they really are. Now, let's get even deeper into this concept. Silence doesn't just expose others. It also forces you to confront yourself. Have you ever noticed that when someone goes quiet, you start questioning your own actions, your own words, your own decisions? It's unsettling, isn't it? Silence holds up a mirror, and in that mirror, you start to see your own vulnerabilities reflected back at you. This is what makes silence so powerful. It's not just about what happens to the person you're interacting with, but what happens to you when you embrace it. Think about it. When you're silent, you are no longer distracted by external noise. You stop reacting to the world around you, and for the first time, you start paying attention to what's happening inside. The discomfort you feel, that's you facing your own inner turmoil, your own doubts, and your own insecurities. In a world where we're constantly bombarded by noise, where everyone is rushing to be heard, silence becomes a sanctuary. It's in that moment of stillness that you can hear your own thoughts, your own voice, without the interference of others. It's where true clarity arises. And that's where the power lies. Stoicism teaches us that in moments of silence, we must confront our own emotions, not avoid them. It's not just about using silence as a tool to control external situations. It's about using it to control your internal world. When you can sit with silence without feeling the need to fill it with noise, you've achieved a level of self-mastery that few people ever reach. You've conquered the need for external validation, the fear of not being heard, and the desire to constantly fill the void with distractions. This is where true strength comes from, the ability to sit in silence and not only endure it, but embrace it. When you can do this, you'll find that the world around you no longer has the power to shake your confidence. You will be immune to external pressures, immune to the constant need to prove yourself. In silence, you find a strength that cannot be shaken. Here's where it all comes together. The ability to remain silent isn't just about avoiding conflict or deflecting manipulation. It's about mastering yourself. It's about gaining control over your own impulses, emotions, and reactions. In a world that constantly pushes us to speak, to act, to react, silence becomes the ultimate expression of inner control. And here's the most powerful part. When you master silence, you control everything. Think back to the last time you felt the pressure to speak, to defend yourself, or to respond to something that irritated you. What would have happened if you had stayed silent? What if, instead of reacting, you had taken a breath, remained still, and let the moment pass without offering up your energy? You would have taken control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. You would have shown the world that you are unshakable, that you don't need to fill the silence with noise to prove your worth. You are the calm in the storm. This is the essence of true power, not in how loud you speak, but in how quietly you stand. The person who masters silence becomes a force of nature. Their presence fills the room, not because of their words, but because they've learned the art of stillness, of waiting, of observing before acting. They make others question themselves, while they remain untouched, unbothered, and in complete control. So, here's your challenge. The next time you feel the urge to react, whether in a confrontation, in an argument, or even in your everyday interactions, pause. Stay silent. Let the discomfort rise and watch how the world around you reacts. You'll start to see it clearly. Those who are desperate to speak are often the ones who are the weakest, and your silence will be the weapon that reveals their true intentions. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on this. Are you ready to master silence and take control of your life? Are you willing to stop reacting to the world and start shaping it with your presence, your stillness, your calm? If you are, I want you to make a powerful statement. Leave a comment below. I master silence. I master my world. No need for explanations. Just that phrase. It's your declaration of independence from the noise of the world. It's a silent pact between you and your inner power. And if you're ready to start living a life of inner mastery, where you respond not out of fear, but out of strength, hit the subscribe button. But don't do it because you feel like you have to. Do it as an act of conscious choice, an act of choosing to go deeper, to silence the noise, and to step into your true power. Let this be the moment you stop running from the silence and start using it as your greatest strength. You're no longer the one scrambling to fill the void. You're the one who controls it.